Welcome to an overview of the Access to Water in Mexico City investigation. In this investigation, you're trying to figure out how to respond to the question, why is access to water unequal in and around Mexico City? Today, as you begin learning about water access in Mexico City, instead of memorizing names and dates from a textbook, which is really hard and not particularly interesting, you will instead read and hear several different perspectives. You'll discuss with your classmates and then make your own decision about what it all means. Read.Inquire.Write lessons are called investigations. Throughout each investigation, you're looking for evidence to figure out how to respond to a central question. You'll notice that our investigations never say answer a central question. Instead, you'll hear us ask you to respond to a central question. That's because we believe there is not one right answer. There could be multiple answers. So we want you to respond to the question with evidence. Read.Inquire.Write investigations support you in building a case for your argument using evidence and reasoning. Over time, this kind of work will strengthen your reading, writing, critical thinking, and problem-solving skills. In this investigation, you're trying to respond to the central question, why is access to water unequal in and around Mexico City? So what do we mean by water inequality? In Mexico City, there is a water crisis. The crisis is about who has water. Some people have access to more water than others. For example, rich areas have more access to water than poor areas. This is what we mean by water inequality. The question is why? Why is access to water unequal in and around Mexico City? This is the question you will be investigating. PBS NewsHour wrote a report in 2014 about Mexico City's water crisis. Their report focused on the problem of water scarcity in Mexico City, but it did not focus on inequality. In addition, the report left out important causes for the current water crisis. Your task is to first consider the evidence in the PBS NewsHour report, and then write an email responding to the question, why is access to water unequal in and around Mexico City? Support your argument using evidence and reasoning about the evidence. You will write an interpretation-style essay to respond to the question. Remember, an interpretation-style essay is a type of essay that helps you share what you think about the question based on evidence. Our investigation will guide you step by step in developing your response. Let's review those steps now. First, you'll begin by making connections and building background. For example, you'll begin by reflecting, what does the word unequal or inequality mean to you? Where have you seen or experienced inequality in your life? Next, your teacher will provide you with different sources to read about water access in Mexico City. You'll use these sources to determine why access to water is unequal in Mexico City. To help you read these sources, your teacher will provide you with this bookmark. The bookmark tool will help you understand, analyze, and evaluate sources about water access in Mexico City. The bookmark prompts you to make annotations or detailed notes about the sources. You'll do this as you read and after you read. For example, in this source, you can see that a student has circled important information about the people discussed in this book on water and social inequality. The student also made notes about what those circles mean. You will do the same on your sources, and the bookmark tool will guide you. Making these annotations is really important because they will help you remember key ideas in the sources. This way, you don't have to try to remember everything or have to reread everything later. Instead, these annotations will make it easier to determine why access to water is unequal in Mexico City. In step 3, you will weigh the evidence presented in the sources about water inequality in Mexico City. You will begin by sorting the sources based on your understanding. Then, you will construct and discuss the arguments based on what you have learned from these sources. Then in step 4, you will read and analyze a mentor text similar to the type of interpretation you will write about water inequality in Mexico City. A mentor text is a sample of writing that shows you one way to organize and write an interpretation-style argument. It includes important parts such as claim, evidence, and reasoning. It's a good example of the way you can structure your own response about water inequality in Mexico City. Just remember that the mentor text is not exactly what you'll write, and it is not a source. The mentor text is one example of what your essay might look like. Next, you'll use the planning graphic organizer. The graphic organizer is like a roadmap for your essay. It helps you organize your ideas about which sources are most reliable for learning about water inequality in Mexico City. And it will prompt you to give evidence and reasoning to support your argument. You will use all of the work you've done so far to help you develop this roadmap. You'll look at your annotated sources and you'll determine what argument you think is strongest, and then make decisions to plan the essay you'll write. Then in step 6, you're ready to write your letter and respond to the central question: why is access to water unequal in and around Mexico City? Be sure to use the sources you have read to write your response and choose the strongest argument. We know it's sometimes difficult to start writing. That's why we also include a useful language tool. You can look at this tool to choose from examples of how to start your claim, evidence, and reasoning. Finally, after you have spent some time writing, pause to use the reflection tool. The reflection tool will help you review what you have written so far and set goals for your next steps. The reflection tool reminds you about what to include in your argument. Let's review quickly the 7 steps you'll take throughout this investigation. First, making connections and building background. Second, read and analyze sources using the bookmark tool. Third, weigh the evidence. Fourth, analyze the mentor text. Fifth, complete the planning graphic organizer, deciding on the argument you'll make. 6, use the useful language tool as you draft your essay. And finally, 7th, review and improve your essay using the reflection tool. As you work through the investigation, make sure to talk with your classmates and others who can support you as you learn about and respond to the central question: why is access to water unequal in and around Mexico City? Good luck!